Hey guys, I'm working on I'm doing a screencast here for you for the very first time. So bear with me if the tech is not 100% perfect. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the oral language sample that you're going to be giving on Wednesday when you have the kids, the fourth graders. So the oral language sample is a chance for you to collect exactly that, an oral language sample, but it's a very informal assessment. So as you see here, it talks about the oral language sample. The administration guidelines are in your course packet, so you can look at those specifically. But what it says here is you're going to start by just letting the student know that you're going to be talking with them. It says we're going to be talking for a few minutes. I do not suggest that you write verbatim what the kids say because it's going to be really hard to do that, particularly for 3 buddies for some of you or 2 buddies. Instead, I want you to do a recording. So you're going to need a device on which you will make this recording. So it says, I need to record what you're saying so I can remember all the good things that you tell me, but nobody else is going to hear this. It's only for me. You're going to have the student describe a favorite experience. So such as, I remember when my family got a dog, and you're going to include details to describe the day and why it was special and kind of give them sort of this modeling. The idea behind this assessment is to look at the type of language that kids are using and really get a sense of what they're doing well and what they might be struggling with. So once you finish your example, which should be something that has a lot of description, really rich, then let the student know that it's their turn. So ask the student to describe a favorite experience. So you can say, what was one of your favorite experiences or days or memories? And you can change this prompt. You don't have to use this prompt. But you want to start by encouraging them to think for a minute about the story that they want to tell. And then use some prompts to encourage them to speak a little bit more, such as, do you remember anything more about that day, or what else happened? If the student seems unsure or reluctant to talk or gives just short phrases, you might actually instead do a different prompt. Here they talk about, can you tell me how to make a peanut butter sandwich? You want something that will give them a lot of steps. So you could do something like describe the day at school. What are the things, all the things that happened during a day? Or you could have them describe something that they like to make at home, some food or something. But the idea here is to get 10 to 15 phrases that the student says. We're going to do an analysis on what it is that they do. This is really, we're looking for some oral language proficiency here. So when you score it, you're going to bring typed or neatly handwritten copies, transcripts of your buddy's samples to, it says Tuesdays, but that should be Monday's class. And then in class, we're going to go through and look for the different phrases that the kids have, and then use the protocol to calculate the mean length of phrases. So this is something that we're going to do in class on Monday. So we'll score it together on Monday. But you need to take the recording on Wednesday when you're with the child so that you can create these transcripts and bring them to class next Monday. Okay, so that's all for that one. We are also going to talk a little bit about the informal writing sample. So let me bring that up so we can see it. So with the informal writing sample, again, this is an informal piece of writing that we want the kids to do for us. This will be one of our assessments. For the informal writing sample, we're going to collect a writing sample from each buddy. We're going to think of a prompt or a topic that we want them to write about, and then a short time, like 5 or 10 minutes, to see what they can write about independently. Now, you could use the same topic that you just used for the oral writing sample, and then their oral language sample, and this would be the writing part of that, or you could come up with something completely different. One of the things that I want to make sure that you do, though, if you don't use the same topic, that you would come up with a prompt and give them a little bit of time to think or draw about it before you have them start writing. So again, there's kind of two options. Option one would be to start with the oral language sample and have them talk through their sample, and then follow it up with this informal writing sample and say, great, now I want you to write about it, and have them write for 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, that's option A. Or option B would be to do your oral language sample, then later on the lesson, come back and do a different topic altogether. There's a couple examples here that you see, such as the character decided to, what would you do in that situation? That would be sort of a response to reading. Or something more creative, like describe a superpower that you would like to have. Whatever you think will allow them to write. That's what I want you to come up with and use as your prompt. So in your informal analysis, you're going to jot down in your notes, what did you notice about the product that they come up with? The letters, the words, the sentences that they wrote. And what did you notice about their process or approach to writing? So do they get started right away? Do they need to draw first? Do they seem to want to process it orally first and talk about, all the things that they're thinking of before they get started? So what process do they use to go ahead and get started in writing? We're going to be thinking about the results of this in terms of what you learn from your QSI when you reflect on this. So those are the two things that that we're going to be giving in class when we're with our buddies again on Wednesday. So those are the two things that you need to integrate into your lesson. The writing can obviously just be kind of brought into the writing section of your lesson. That can be the writing segment. And then the oral language, that becomes your assessment piece for this next lesson. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions on what to do. Otherwise, hopefully this is helpful in describing how you should be planning for Wednesday.